Good morning, welcome to Wake Up Well. I'm Charlotte and I am a millennial. And that just means that I am of the generation that is somewhere between the age of 20 and mid to late 30s at the moment. And people are always trying to describe and define the millennial generation, and they do so by painting all sorts of broad brushstrokes. But one of the things that comes out consistently is the high value that millennials place on integrity. I'm currently reading a book called Leading the Millennial Way, and in it they do a piece of research on some millennials and they ask them this question. They say, which of these characteristics have you observed in the most effective leaders? And it's the characteristic of integrity that comes out on top. Integrity is really, really valuable to my generation. And I often wonder if that's one of the reasons that I'm so attracted and drawn into the character of Jesus. Because I have one of those Bibles that is a red letter Bible, which means the words of Jesus are in red, so they kind of jump off the page. But what I really, really love is that as I read through the gospel stories, the stories of Jesus' life, I see that everything he says, everything that's written in red in my Bible, is backed up by his actions. You see, Jesus doesn't just talk the talk, but Jesus also walks the walk. And as followers of Jesus, we are called to do the same thing. And that's particularly true when it comes to the holy habit of generosity, which we're thinking about this week at the Well. So let me read from 1 John chapter 3, verses 16 to 22. We know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. If someone has enough money to live well and sees a brother or sister in need but shows no compassion, how can God's love be in that person? Dear children, let's not merely say that we love each other. Let us show the truth by our actions. Our actions will show that we belong to the truth, so we will be confident when we stand before God. Even if we feel guilty, God is greater than our feelings and he knows everything. Dear friends, if we don't feel guilty, we can come to God with bold confidence, and we will receive from him whatever we ask because we obey him and do the things that please him. And so Jesus did not just talk the talk, but he also walked the walk. And he did that when it came to generosity with his generous lifestyle. And so we are to do the same. We are not just to talk about generosity, not just to say, oh yeah, I love these people, I'm a generous person, but also to walk the walk, to show it in our actions. And we do this because Jesus set the bar really high on this. Right at the beginning of the passage I read in verse 16, it says, we know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. And here's the clincher in verse 18. Let's not merely say that we love each other. Let us show the truth by our actions. And so thinking about generosity, thinking about my life, thinking about your life, how can we not just talk the talk, but how can we have true integrity just like Jesus and walk the walk, put our words into actions when it comes to generosity today?